It is not a mistake if your quotations are too short, because you can have a one-word quotation if it has purpose and impact. Okay, so that's why I haven't put too short on there, because there's nothing like a too short quotation. We want micro quotes. So you want them to be small, manageable, memorable, relevant, all those different things we've talked about. Don't think of them as quotations. Okay, think of them as micro quotations, because that will encourage you to keep short, to keep that brevity. Not more than 4 or 5 words. If it is more than 4 or 5 words, get rid of it. Or if you think it's really good, zoom in to the key words that you want. Okay, and if you decide it is a really long quote and you do want to refer to all of it, then take out some words and put the ellipsis, the ... in the middle. Okay, you shouldn't really need to do that because you want them to be short. You want that brevity we've talked about. But if you feel you really must, then that's the way to do it. Quote the beginning and the end, and then reduce the middle by putting ... so you're taking it out. Okay, so not more than 5 words. And you also need to be able to say more than one thing about it. Okay, so if you can't say 2 or more, you don't want it. Okay, don't underestimate single words. Single word quotations are brilliant. Don't just use single word quotations. We need a range. Okay, it would be a bit tedious and a bit boring if you've just got loads of single words. When you're dealing with the text, challenge yourself to shorten some quotations. So when you read an extract in class and you're doing an activity in class on it, think about, well, if that's the quotation, how could I shorten it? So these 2 are from Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, another favourite of mine. And you can see they're both really good quotes. And these are actually quotations that have appeared in one of my students' essays on Pride and Prejudice. And they were too long. You know, this is an able student, a top level student, but these are far too long. So let's just have a look at that first one. You chose to tell me that you liked me against your will, against your reason, and even against your character. And the bit there I would zoom in on is that repetition of against. Okay, so I might quote part of that. I might quote, against your will. That would be my example. But then I would go on to talk about how that is then repeated for other reasons. Or you could zoom in and you could focus on will, reason, and character. So if you started a new text, start collecting this evidence now, these quotes. So even if your teacher's not directing you to do it at home. Spend just 10 minutes at the end of a day. If you've had English that day, spend 10 minutes putting together some quotes from the sections you've been studying. And by the end, when you actually are having your exams, you will be so grateful